And guys, welcome to another episode of the Lifelong Gunning Podcast. Guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It really helps the channel to go far away in terms of getting new content out there, getting um, specialized content out there, getting into the analytics, which is so hard to get into. Um, and it allows us to do a lot more things. All right, guys, it increases our capabilities. All right, guys. So big weekend ahead of us. Sunday, home game, Manchester United. A big game for the season, one of our biggest games for the season, historically, if not the biggest game. Just because at this point, I don't think Tottenham is a big game anymore. I think it's just, just routine, that we beat them and keep moving. Anyways, guys, so um, though they're not our direct competitors for the Premier League title, it is always a big game when you host Manchester United. Let's get it right. All right, guys. Manchester United, Michael Carrick, new manager, new tactics. Players are back from AFCON. Um, there's no excuse to be had on their point. I don't think they have any significant injuries. All their players seem to be fine. And a game as big as Arsenal, Manchester United, they should be up for it. So when it all is said and done, I don't want to hear any, oh, this, that, right? Um, Arsenal, however, um, we have our issues, but we won't complain. True Arsenal fashion, we won't complain. We'll go out there, get the job done, um, and move on with it. All right, guys. So I'm going to jump into the predicted lineup, the lineup that I expect to be fielded for the game against Manchester United, or that I would like to see, or should be fielded for the game against Manchester United. I'll also go into some returnees possible for the game, touch and go. Um, I'll also go into transfers a little bit, um, what has already happened, what is being touted for summer, and whether or not we should bring anybody in for January. Um, in addition to that, I'd like to talk about, is that everything? Okay, I'll also go into what I expect the predicted score to be. All right, guys. All right, so guys, let's start with the lineup, and you can tell me in the comment section what you expect the lineup to be. But so far, this is what I have, guys. And this is fit. All right. So I know that we might have some players touch and go for this game, but I'm not going to include them because anybody that's returning hasn't been playing in the last 2.5 and more weeks. So I wouldn't put them into a game of this magnitude, especially because we don't want to surrender the 7 point lead. Ryan goal. Um, at right back, I want to see Ben White, centre back pairing of Big Gabi and Saliba. Um, at left back, I want to see Timber. Um, and I want to see a midfield pairing of Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard. Left wing Trossard, right wing Saka. And after those two goals and such a wonderful performance against Inter Miami in the Champions League, where we came out 3-1 victors, I would love to see Gabriel Jesus continuing to play at number 9 for this game. Um, and possibly have Gyökeres, depending on how the game progresses, depending on how much joy Gabriel Jesus is having in the game. Then Gabriel Jesus actually plays well against Manchester United, and that's a part of the reason why I definitely want him to start. Apart from the fact that he had a lot of success recently, um, yeah, I would definitely start him in this game and have Gyökeres coming off the bench. Gyökeres seems like he might do a little bit better in a supplementary role right now, taking the limelight off of him and passing it off to somebody else, giving him time to the energy to come off of him for him to kind of calm down, kind of reassess, kind of look at where he's going wrong and properly fix his game. Because he looked energized and he looked venomous coming on against Inter Milan. The Gyökeres that we want to see, and even bagged his goal. And that relentlessness, when you have that in your game, when you have that level of wanting to change the game, then you get rewarded, right? And he was rewarded with a goal. All right, guys. So on to our late returnees, possible returnees. We have Califiori, Nkapie, and Havertz. All right. So I still a little bit unconvinced. However, I know that he won't play a part in this game for sure, but I know that we also have a Champions League game um, in midweek against the debutant um, Karak Basmati or Bamati. So I expect to see him get more significant minutes in that game. So I don't expect him to play any part in this game against Manchester United, but he might make the bench. And if he's on the bench, it's never a bad thing. He gives us offers something different in terms of height, heading ability, and so forth. So if we need to get, we're really good at set pieces. So if we need to get a last minute goal, it might not be a bad idea to throw him on, though we don't want to. All right, guys. So that's our late. So and we also have Incapi and Califiori. So guys, so if Incapi and Califiori are back, they're on the bench. I also don't expect to see them in the game. If I expect to see any defenders come into the game at all, which we probably won't, then it would be Mosquero. Also a good showing against Inter Milan in the Champions League. A monster showing, as a matter of fact, because he's been out for a couple of weeks. Um, and so to perform like that against such a big opponent in such a on such a big stage is something has to be said about that. All right, so guys, and lastly, let's talk about players. All right, guys. So we have Julian Alvarez. I listened to a podcast recently. Um, David Ornstein kind of hinted that Arsenal were interested previously, and it's a name that we might be looking to throw into the hat for this summer. Um, ever since he said that, it's been mayhem, guys. You know how transfer windows are. So ever since he said that, it's mayhem. I mean, Julian Alvarez is an amazing player. Plays for Atletico Madrid, formerly of Manchester United, and has been phenomenal in both clubs. And I'm pretty sure Manchester United didn't want to lose him, and I'm pretty sure Atletico Madrid don't want to lose him. So it will take a enormous outlay, financial outlay for us to get him to the Emirates. But with possible departures also on the horizon in form of Gabriel Jesus, we saw him come out after the game, after that man of the match performance against Inter Milan, saying, spoke about his admiration for Syria, spoke about his admiration for Inter Milan, and basically saying it was a dream come true to score at the San Siro. So who knows? Changing his agent, that's usually a sign that a player is possibly knows that he's going to be on the move, or is probably wanting to try something else and probably wanting to move on. All right, guys. So we know that Ethan Wanier is off the Olympic Marseille. We've seen the pictures. Good move. De Zerbi, good manager, good philosophy. Um, the the fee and the entire the layout for the deal to get across the loan deal is amazing. And it suggests that he should be getting significant game time because if not, Marseille has a lot of money to give us. So I don't see them wanting to fork out that amount of $4 million loan fee for 18-year-old. And also they look like they need a lot of help because that game in the Champions League that they played midweek looked like they were void of ideas and they needed something fresh. And with him and Greenwood in the same team, feeding Aubameyang. I know they have that guy Igor Paxor. That it might be considerable. It might be a good addition for them. All right, guys. So I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to go out on a limb. I personally don't think that we should get anybody this January. I think it'd be a bad idea. I think we already have a bloated squad. I think we already have players that are not getting enough game time. Norgard, Eze, um, Waneri, hence the loan. Um, so to add to that would just be a bad idea. I think when you add players to a bloated squad, or when you have a bloated squad, the tendency is that the players tend to lose sight of what their objectives are. They're not playing, they feel disjointed, they don't feel like a part of things. Um, you know, Regardless of what we think, these players take their job seriously, and I'm hoping anyways. Doesn't look like that sometimes, but these players take their careers seriously. It's a very short-lived career, so they want to play. They want to live out the entirety of their careers on the field. They don't want to be on the bench. So for that reason, because we want to keep the group unified, because we want to keep everybody together and the moral high, as we're going for it, guys, regardless of people want to be, they want to have some reservations. So they say, guys, calm down. But the truth of the matter is, guys, we're in all four competitions for a reason because we're going for it, right? If we weren't going for it, then we would be negligent in the league, we would be negligent in the Champions League, and we will be out of the two cups like we've seen many years before. But this year, we are going for it all. Um, so yeah, so I don't think we should bring anybody in. That's my final play. If we bring anybody else in, if we bring anybody in, guys, it has to be something that is going to absolutely make us win the league. That is where we're at. And because the magnitude of player and the surety, there's only one player that I can think of that we can add to the squad that would absolutely guarantee that we'll win this league. And that is Julian Alvarez. And he's not moving. That is a summer transfer move. That is not a January transfer move, guys. And the only other player apart from him is um, Ayub Bouabi from Lille. Just because I understand that if we leave that for the summer, then there will be a battle, a legitimate battle for him, and it might not be. You don't want to be a part of a bidding war, guys. So to avoid the escalation of a bidding war, and end up getting a player, or getting a player for a value that is not indicative of the player, or to not get the player at all would not be a very good thing. He looks like one in a million, guys. I won't lie to you. Um, Fantastic. I mean, to be honest with you, he reminds me of Matteo Guendouzi, you know, but hopefully with a better attitude. Obviously, he's a little bit better as well. There's things about his game that Guendouzi didn't have, but he looks one in a million. All right, guys. My score prediction for the game, I would say, mine. I mean, I would say 3-1. Let's go with 3-1, guys. Let me know what your score prediction is for the game down in the comment section down below. All right, guys? All right, guys. So that's everything. So big game, guys. If you are in London, many of us are not. Show up to the game, show up early. Um, Tifo should be out there. Guys, this is a big one. Um, Big for the league. Go out there, be the 12th man, make as much noise as possible, and let's get this one over the line. All right? Come on, you gunners. All right, guys. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, guys. It really goes a far way to grow the channel. And it gets us into the algorithm. All right, guys. All right, guys. Peace and love, and we're out.